good evening, everyone. How's the word?
It's like another great weekend of football.
Great weekend of football for some people, not for some others. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Yeah, man. So Labor Day weekend. Today's Labor Day. I know plenty of people went to the Parkway and they
Yeah,
had some events. I think they even have an event going now, starting about now, about right, I think.
yeah,
So I hope everybody who goes to that enjoys it, and people just be safe as we want everybody to get home safe. Don't drink and drive.
yeah,
If you're tired, then sleep in your ride and then drive home. But yeah, so we're gonna go over the weekend of games, week 4 of the English Premier League. Um, quite a few interesting games and interesting storylines coming out of um games and teams and you
yep,
know talking points. So we could go for it. A key point I want to make sure that we are opening up, being clear that we want people to call in, give their opinions. So anybody who wants to call in, I'm gonna post in the chat the link where you could join us. You could call in, give your opinion, and we want you guys to give your opinion on certain, even if it's not your club. We appreciate your opinion. Um, so I just posted the link here underneath the two videos, and yeah, yes, I
it's
carry.
it's like
What is the word? What is the word? What is the word? Sorry for my tardiness.
Yeah, man. But we were just starting off, just have giving everybody a chance to share the live and you know talk a little bit about the weekend overall. Um, we can go through the games as we normally do, and then obviously we're gonna spend some time going through the different storylines and maybe discuss the games that stood out over the weekend. So I personally didn't watch every game because I was sleeping. Being up all night and getting home early morning, you have to kind of make up for sleep. So,
yeah,
but we could go through the matches. So basically,
We had one Friday.
we had a game Friday, and that game was let me just share the screen here real quick.
Pictures.
Let me just share the screen. So anybody who want to call in, don't hesitate. Call in. We'll let you guys in, give your opinion. We try and keep it nice, short and sweet. Get to your point, but we appreciate you guys calling in. So I'm gonna share the screen for the results here. Yeah, so we had a game on Friday. That was West Ham versus Luton, and I think that was the first game Luton has ever hosted, in the Premier League, on their ground.
yeah,
Um, and it was a tight game. Tight game. Game finished 2-1. But West Ham has started the season really, really hot, really hot. There, I think they got 10 points after 4 games. They beat Chelsea. They beat Brighton in those 4 games. So big wins for West Ham, considering the struggles they had last year. What you
Yeah.
guys, what you guys feel about West Ham so far?
I haven't seen the only game I watched of this was the Chelsea game. Was it Chelsea? Or was it
yeah.
the Brighton game I
Just,
watched? It was the Chelsea game I watched. And I mean they have a balanced squad. Most of the squad has been playing well, playing together for like the past couple of years. They made a few good additions. James Ward-Prowse like fit right in. Like he'd been playing with that team for years. Um, who's the other one? Lucas Paqueta,
Mm-hmm.
man is a boss in the midfield. Um, and the new addition, the guy they replaced Rice with, Alvarez.
Alvarez, yeah, yeah, yep.
yeah,
Alvarez look like an all action midfielder. So it's like they spent the money wisely. I think that did they bring in another striker? I think they were looking for another striker.
no, they didn't.
They didn't.
They bring in Kudus.
Right. Mohamed Kudus.
Antonio,
He hasn't made his debut yet.
Antonio
No,
started the season hot, so Antonio kind of showed him that they don't need another
yeah,
shot.
Well, yeah, that's true. And then they also have Danny Ings there still.
but
Yeah,
that too. their two standout results in the 4 games so far is they beat Chelsea and they beat Brighton
Mm-hmm.
as well. So
Convincingly,
yeah,
scoring, yeah, in both games.
small sample size so far, but so far they're looking at it better than they were last year for sure. More balanced.
Correct.
The risk there is if Antonio get hurt, they sold their other striker, so they might be a bit short up front. But
Yeah,
Skamaka?
yeah,
but Antonio don't tend to have.
Danny Ings is still on the books, though.
easy.
Yeah. Danny
Ah,
Ings still on West Ham books.
okay.
Let me just verify that.
But yeah, Antonio don't. Antonio not a striker. You tend to associate with injuries too much. So
Now
you
he
know,
will.
I think he should be.
He tends to stay pretty fit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that was
Yeah,
the game on
Danny
Friday.
Ings is still on the books.
Who's that?
Danny Ings.
Okay.
And then they're not only relying on Antonio for their goals as well. Ben Rama, Bowen,
Yeah, Bowen started the season off really well as well.
yeah, and
Unfortunately, he didn't make it to the England squad, right? I don't think they picked him, right? I don't think Southgate brought him into the England squad.
did he?
Nah, I think there was a big conversation on that. He didn't pick him. He didn't pick Sterling.
Well, and
He
still
said,
inside
this season decent.
Oh, well.
But yeah. So that was the game on Friday. Then we had Saturday morning. We had a slate of games. Saturday morning. We had Brighton, Newcastle. Brighton with a big win.
I watched that Brighton Newcastle.
Yeah, big win against Newcastle.
yeah.
Brighton look like West Ham make them vex. The man, Brighton playing some of the best football I see in the league right now, and I would dare say in terms of build-up play and fluid play, I think Brighton rival in City. City just have better players, and they have Haaland up front.
But
To me, in terms of watching football, Brighton right up there.
yes, but the other talking point there is that Newcastle, a team that finished in the top four last year, they
Yeah.
started the season really, really slowly. They only have 3 points out of 4 games.
Well, I think there are some tough fixtures, Liverpool, City, and Brighton.
No, but I mean, if you think about it, Brad, I mean, Liverpool in the position they were in the game against Liverpool, they would consider themselves. They would have considered that bad for them to end up losing that game. At least a draw, because and Liverpool was down to 10 men. So
Well, that's a testament to the strength of the opposition,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's for opposition or if it's just bad game management. I
It
don't
was
know.
bad game management, man.
I'm just
It was bad
saying,
game management.
overall,
Um,
they would look at it as disappointing for them to be
Yeah.
leading the game in the 80-something minutes and then end up losing the game.
For
Yeah.
sure.
And then they played Brighton, and we were just talking about West Ham. West Ham beat Brighton, and Brighton basically, come back and responded by beating Newcastle this weekend. So
Let me tell you, I watched that Evan Ferguson kid play. That kid will go for big money. If he keep playing the same way he play, and he continue to score goals, that kid will go for big money.
yeah, well, the biggest thing is consistency. That's the biggest thing.
That is it, you know. That
You
is
get
it.
players who give you 1 or 2 good weekends, and then the rest of the year you don't hear nothing about them. So I think I was watching a video. I can't remember who maybe it was Kevin De Bruyne, one of the players. He was saying that the difference between a really good player and a world class player is consistency. Being able to bring it every week. So
Yep.
we'll see. Then the next game we had was City Fulham. I think Haaland had a hat trick in that game.
He did. Evan Ferguson had a hat trick. There were 3 hat tricks this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I fall asleep during that game. That game was boring. City dominated that game. It's just like,
But as is most games, bro.
The games tend to be boring.
Yeah, City games, I already watching them. They good. I'm gonna say they're really great, but I don't really get too much excitement watching their football.
Yeah.
But Haaland is a freak of nature finisher, bro.
Yep.
Freak of nature finisher. The man, he doesn't really take more than 1 touch when he finishing.
Well,
And then always unstoppable. Corner of the goal, hard and low.
but to that point though, Karen, right? I mean, I watch Haaland. You watch Haaland and them guys play. To me, when I listen to Haaland talk, his mentality makes him make the difference.
Oh yeah.
Because you watch a lot of players.
Sorry.
You watch a lot of players that say, well, they have the talent, but Haaland have the mentality where if you go in a game and he doesn't score a goal, he's that angry, he works hard on his game, even if he's still a talented guy. And that is one of the thing with City, right? City, Pep does not Pep still wants those guys to work hard, even if they're talented. If they're not willing to work hard, he don't pick them.
Yeah,
Look what happened with Cancelo and them guys. Cancelo was playing really good for City, and then all of a sudden Pep just got rid of him because maybe the mentality, maybe what it was. I don't know what it was, but you know that's why those guys are up there compared to some of the other players that you might look and say, well, other players are just as talented as them, but maybe the mentality is not there.
yeah.
So I mean, shout out to Haaland. Haaland started the season again on fire like he started last year, even without Kevin De Bruyne, which I didn't think. I think that he maybe would have slowed down a little bit, but looking at that happening.
I just see City slowing down.
That City team will probably even better balanced without De Bruyne in it. To me, Kovacic go to that team and slot in almost perfectly.
Yeah,
Like almost up. Rodri have legs. Rodri will cover backwards, but Kovacic can carry the ball and get that team up the field. Right? And then you have Foden either drop it in, playing in the 10 or in the midfield with them as well. Foden only half turn, you have many better than Foden just to be able to manipulate the ball, turn and get into attacking positions. Right? So he's between him. They just signed a Doku partner.
yeah.
I didn't see too much of him in the game, right? But Grealish don't even start. I remember who started on the left for them. Was it Foden that started
No
on the
matter
left?
who starts City, find a way to beat the teams they should be beating.
Exactly.
They drop a few points in the top 6. That's how they end up winning the league every year.
And they punish them, and that's how they build up their goal difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
By the way, if anybody want to call us live, make it a little easy on everybody. I know the link is a little long, so you could just scan the QR code on the top corner there, top left hand corner, and you guys will be able to join us live. All right. And we want the people in the chat to call and give your opinions. That's important to kind of, we don't want it to just be us giving our opinions on the thing, right? Next game we want to go over Nottingham Forest after the disappointment of losing to Manchester United after being up 2-0. The next weekend they had another tough game, which is Chelsea, and they end up beating Chelsea 1-0.
It to be a tough game, but to be a bit comfortable,
clean sheets.
Yeah.
Clean sheets.
I watched some of that game, man. I mean, Chelsea had all the ball. Chelsea had a lot of shots, but they at the moment a bit too flesh up front, The build
And
up,
Jackson
but
good in the preseason,
yeah.
But he looked good in the first few games.
So why is it that he ain't scoring more goals? I mean,
Well, he looked good in terms of like his movement and stuff, but when it comes to the business end of it, finishing the chance, that's where he's a bit shaky, a bit jittery and rushing and snapping at the ball. And I guess with time we'll settle down. But for now,
I think his nerves, man. I think his nerves. Yeah. I didn't even watch
Jackson missed a kind of a thing from like 3 yards out, hit that over the bar. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Shin it instead of putting it.
Sometimes you need some luck on your teams like Nottingham Forest and them teams there. You need a little luck to go on your side,
Yeah. Well, Elanga doing well since his move.
Yeah.
I guess he tried and show that he deserved to be, starting in a Premier League team.
Well, I mean, when you have players playing for a certain team and they can't even come off the bench, and then you see them going and playing for other teams and doing well. Again, we'll get to that, but
Yeah, we will.
We'll get to that, but yeah. So Chelsea, I think Chelsea, how many points they have after 4 games? Chelsea's down in 12. They have 4 points after 4 games.
Yeah.
With a goal difference of 0. So
and the one win was against New Boys, Luton.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another. I think that's a bit of a disappointing start for Chelsea to start this season as well. But again, it's still young. The season's still young. A lot of games to go. So
Yeah, I think
I think
after 10 games is when I really start paying attention to the table now. Because I
yeah,
mean teams can still win season form and thing, but when the table really start taking shape after 10 games,
and the
and then that is when you know you have to adjust your goals because
yeah,
you know sometimes you out of the running after the first 10
the thing
games.
is in sports in general, in I mean my opinion at least is like you can't turn it on and turn it off. You have to
Exactly.
be at the races every day, every game. So when teams started off, let's say the first 5, 6, 7 games bad, to think that they're just gonna just turn it on. They like City, maybe the only team that you can see struggling, and then all of a sudden just go on like a 10, 15 game winning streak. The rest,
And then typically for the past few years, City hasn't started well.
yeah,
Yeah.
and this,
For the past few years, they always have a little tinker into the little changes here and there. And then they start picking up and then they start getting those results. But the way City start on fire, I don't know.
With teams like Newcastle, I thought well when the Champions League game week start, we would see them be a little more shaky, but they started this season shaky before the CL even starts. So let's see
Yep,
what they deal
yep,
with that going forward.
yep, yep,
yeah,
yep.
Yeah.
The next game we had was Spurs, and Spurs have started off the season flying.
Yep.
James Madison's proven to be so far the signing of the season.
agreed.
Some players, some teams thought that he wasn't good enough for them, but
It wasn't good enough.
you know, um,
Yeah,
James Madison and James Ward-Prowse, those two guys that people kind of let go to West Ham and to Tottenham respectively, unopposed. Um, those guys have started the season on fire. Spurs without Harry Kane putting 5 past Burnley, which is impressive on their end.
Yeah.
So I think,
but remember what I was saying about Richarlison?
Yeah, I still feel like for it working for them in these type of games, you working hard and you allowing the likes of Son and Kulusevski.
He didn't start. That what I saying. Richarlison didn't start. Son started up front.
Yeah,
They play someone on the left.
I feel like Son is not like a natural striker, so it's like you get from him either a first class performance like that where it works, and then in another game it's like Rashford up front where it's like he too flesh, he don't know what to do because but
yeah.
with,
Fair
as you
enough.
mentioned, the sample size small still. We'll see. We'll know more after like 10 games. But Burnley
Yeah.
looking like they're still figuring themselves out in the top division.
Burnley, what's Burnley looking like so far? Burnley has 0 points. They haven't even.
Yeah, they have more
Yeah.
match.
So right now the company. I mean, obviously they're a newly promoted team, so we'll have to see how it goes.
Yep. And then they have a game in hand versus Luton because their second week game got postponed for some reason. I can't remember exactly why.
But the other
So
the teams on the lower end of the table though is that they can be losing games, but you want to watch to see how difficult they are to play against. And that is one of the things that if they're conceding a lot of goals and still not scoring. Obviously, the teams at the lower end of the table always struggle with scoring goals. That's one of the biggest things. But at least they have to be difficult to play against and stuff like that. So far, Burnley has conceded a lot of goals. I mean, I think they are they're
11 again.
like -8, I think, in their goal.
Yeah.
Um,
Free scored 11 conceded.
yeah, 11 in 4 games is a lot.
3 games.
Yeah.
3 games. They have only played
3 games, that's even worse.
That's even
But
worse.
to,
Yeah.
but to be fair to them, their first game was against the champs.
City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top start. If they get a run of some
And
teams
then-
closer to their level, they might be able to pick up themselves. But with a former defender as a manager, you would think they would have a little more defensive approach. But it's not the Burnley of old anymore.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yep.
That's true. They basically walked the championship last year. So
yep.
I guess they're trying to keep that style, but sometimes you may have to
And the thing,
you may have to be a little more pragmatic.
That's-
in your approach.
but that shows you the difference between the Premier League and the Championship. Like, just imagine the team that ran away with the Championship, struggling immensely in the Premier League. So the jump to the Premier League is not a joke. Is the heightened quality is a lot different.
Yeah.
The game we had is Brentford and Bournemouth. That game turned out to be 2-2. You would say those teams are pretty much around the same level. You would think, maybe Brentford a little bit ahead of them, but kind of solid mid-table
Without
game.
Tony.
Yeah,
Mbomo flying, yeah, what, 4 goals, 5 goals in the
Yeah.
first 4?
yeah.
So I guess he picking up the mantle. They getting goals from elsewhere. But I watched clips of that game. Bournemouth actually look better than Brentford. I think in terms of teams that were well, Bournemouth will end up safe for a little while, towards the end of
But
the
Mouth play
season.
a very positive brand of football now. They pressing high. They give Liverpool a lot of problems early in the game a couple of weeks ago.
And Solanke is doing very well,
Yeah, he's
very well up
a
front.
former Liverpool stallion, so it's to be expected that
Mhm.
he would do well.
So,
But
so
the bias, boy, they have right to call you bias.
the next game we had Everton Sheffield United, and that game was a huge game for both teams because they're gonna be down there fighting relegation.
Yeah,
As far as I'm concerned, those two teams they're gonna be in that crap. And 2-2 that game finish. Give Everton I think their first point of the season.
Yeah,
Um, I'm not sure about Sheffield United. Sheffield United, yep, their first point as well for the season. So both teams,
Sheffield will go down.
huh?
They will get relegated. Sheffield.
Sheffield. I feel Luton. I feel the two teams so far. I mean, I can't remember what my prediction was, but I feel Burnley might come good eventually. I feel like they might be able to, to get enough points. But Luton and Sheffield so far, I don't know. I think they're definitely gonna be in it. And Everton definitely in those four teams. I would say that
Yeah,
Everton have to be careful because I think they have a new stadium from next year. So I don't think they want to start their first year in a new stadium in the championship.
in the
yeah.
championship.
They have to
They
get
have a striker now. Let's see if when he come in, how they change things.
He scored actually
Yeah,
in his first game. So
Yep.
I mean, if he can stay fit, um, if he can stay fit, and they have Calvert Lewin as a deputy,
yeah.
I
I
think
wouldn't depend on Calvert Lewin.
they have goals. But that I say
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
as a
I would
deputy
consider
because
him
he
injured.
he has stay fit.
Yeah, but they need to get some good home form going, man. These teams at the bottom they need to pick up points at home where they can because
No, he didn't score in this game.
Calvert Lewin, I think, is out. His eye socket or something. He had a injury the last game, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, he got fractured, I think.
Yeah. All right. So those are the games on Saturday. So then let's go into the games on Sunday. So Sunday we had first game Wolves Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace won that game 3-2.
that was a good game.
Yeah, you had Eze on the scoreboard. You had Edward on the scoreboard. Um, and 3-2. So that game, it looked like
Mateta came off the bench.
kind of got a lead goal to kind of make the scoreline look a little better than it was. But at the end of the day, looked like Crystal Palace played a pretty good game. I didn't see that game, so I can't really comment too much on it. The next game is Liverpool Aston Villa, and that was a big game as well. Aston Villa have been playing well to start the season.
Yeah, it ended up being a comfortable afternoon for Liverpool.
Yes, I see that. So you have Szoboszlai, and you had Salah on the score sheet, and the
Yeah,
own goal from Matty Cash.
Nunes striking the woodwork twice or three times in the game.
Boy, it does remind me of a partner you play in pro clubs with. Boy.
Yeah, what I thought we would get a bigger challenge, but I guess at home, they had their chances too. Our defense still look a little shaky at some points,
Mm.
but
Yeah, but to keep already good to keep a clean sheet against a Villa team
yeah,
that's scoring goals. So,
yeah, they
I
have
mean,
but I
a very
see
weak formation.
Trent got injured.
Trent
was
did go off injured as well. He pulled out of the England team.
that?
Trent,
Trent.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I think they say a hamstring.
yeah. So
Mm.
But
we'll see.
of course, I take him out. I take him out of my fantasy team, so he
As
assists,
did
he gets
I,
bonus points,
as did I,
clean
and I take
sheets.
a Rashford as
Okay,
well, but we'll get to Rashford.
we'll get to Rashford. Don't worry about that.
All right, so that was it. I mean, Liverpool start this season. How many points you looking at Liverpool after 4 games?
10 points,
10 points after 4
10.
games.
3 wins, 1 draw.
Enjoy. Yeah, that's good.
So
That's
far,
good.
so good. And I will say, if we go back to last season, 15 games unbeaten so far. It's the longest current run in the league so far, 15 games. So we seem to
Yep.
have come back to some level of consistency. However, with all the little kinks that still need to be worked out, you know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even if that, if only getting points and scoring goals, not conceding as many goals, then
New
that's
midfield signing coming in, Gavin Birch. We'll see how he slot in.
So who you saying would start in the midfield now with McAllister and
I
Bossard?
think away from home it might be Endo, McAllister, Soboslai, but I think at home we might see more of Jones and Elliott and these guys coming in. Gavin Birch will probably get eased in through the League Cup and those type of things.
Mm.
But we're gonna see more of Nunes for sure.
I mean, he started this season pretty well, pretty well.
This was his first start. The last few games he come on with like 10 minutes left and he looked good. But I mean he couldn't be denied after his performance against Newcastle, so they put him in and the attack looked a lot more dynamic with him in there.
Yeah, so
They're confirming that the window is still actually open, Mr. Wallace.
I think it is.
You open until next
I
Friday.
think it's 2 weeks, but
This window might be open, but the Liverpool window is closed.
Yeah. You checking the car, they can't come in for the back door.
We have title ambitions this year. We're not in selling our players' business. And I might look foolish next week when if we actually sell him, but
200, if a 200 million talker, Brad, I think
yeah, I think so.
I mean, title ambition, no, the $200 million for Salah. I mean,
But at a time when you cannot reinvest it, I mean, Liverpool's ambition is supposed to be winning, and Salah is our best player by a mile.
I mean, I get that, but that's
Like
a lot.
We would be basically saying like NBA teams, let's tank this season, take that money and see what we can do next year. And that's unfair to some of the players that they're now in their prime or just
that came in.
Exactly, are trying to win. So we'll see. I know the manager definitely don't want to sell.
Yeah.
We make some money that we were not expecting to with Henderson and Fabinho, so no reason to sell.
By the way, who then play on the right if Salah?
If asking if Gakpo can take up the mantle.
Gakpo can nobody in that Liverpool team, or even if someone that we can sign, will produce what Salah has produced for the last 4 or 5 years. We'll be able to spread the money and become as strong as a team because of how we plug the gaps, and we will not replace Salah. What that man has done over the last few years, 40 goals last year in a bad season.
Yeah.
In Rashford's best season, 40 goals. So there's levels.
All right, so with Rashford now, we can use that as our segue into what we're gonna talk about. And Manchester United again is in the news, and not for good reason, as far as I'm concerned.
For multiple bad.
Yeah, I mean, we have quite a few things we can touch on, but let's just start with the game for one on Sunday afternoon. You had Arsenal beat Manchester United 3-1. Rashford opened up the scoring. Literally, like 30 seconds later, Odegaard equalized.
32 seconds later, Odegaard equalized.
Yeah, then
United fans point to that to later in the game where there was an offside call, but I think that was a key moment for all in the game.
Of course.
No doubt about it.
And then Arsenal have a history of doing that. Every time they go behind, they try to score as quickly as possible, and we have to be aware of that. We have to be aware of that. That was just horrible defending to concede a goal.
But Kirill, I agree. I agree, horrible defending, but I have to give Arsenal credit. They played brilliant football.
They did, of course, and by all standards, they deserve the 3 points.
But a player should be getting a shot from there unopposed.
Unopposed, it's not supposed to happen.
I get all of that, but as you guys know, we play pro clubs all the time, and one time passing, if it's accurate, it will put any team under pressure, especially a team that is defensively, that is not defensively sound. So
it was a great finish, though.
It was a great goal. I will give, as much as I want to say we should have defended it better, but I want to give Arsenal credit for the chance that they created.
If all you had a chance to kind of settle when all you scored, and maybe you could, take the game and go again. But like when they score again so quickly, it's like,
yep.
it's tough.
So then after that, now a few things happened in the game. You had pretty much um you had a penalty that was rescinded for foul on
Havertz,
which player was this again?
Havertz,
On
Havertz.
Havertz, right? The referee changed his mind on the penalty,
Mm.
and then you had a goal that was scored by
Garnacho.
Garnacho that was taken back by VAR.
In the 89th
Ninth
minute.
minute, that was offside, and we've been arguing on whether or not it's offside or not, but at the end of the day, they call it offside. It's offside. And then going into extra time, I think the referee had given 8 minutes extra time, and um, after even all the great football Arsenal played, they got a goal basically of a corner kick, and to me, in that instance, it's terrible defending because there's no way you can allow a player to get a shot off in the box and no,
To control the ball.
yeah,
To control the ball and pick his spot.
yeah.
Without somebody closing him
I
down
mean,
on the top of your
Onana even did good to get his hand to that ball. He almost kept it out.
Yeah, because
But
it was a deflection.
yeah,
It deflected.
yeah. But Declan Rice scored in the 90 plus 6, and then pretty much the game was we were pushing to try to equalize, and Gabriel Jesus had a nice goal at the end, nice finish at
The sequence of play too.
yeah.
Build up two touch
Or
passes.
some
And then
players,
he went
United had an injury to one of the defenders. Was it Lindelof?
two of our
Both
defenders.
our defenders for injury.
Martinez went off after a slight tackle that he shouldn't have made.
Yep.
And then Lindelof, I think it was some tweaked muscle or something.
We have
ended up with
Jordan
Jordan
want to join us there before we. So let Jordan give his 2 cents, and then we can get back to.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We had Johnny Evans and Maguire.
Yes,
So
Jordan.
Jordan,
How is it with the fellas?
Are you saying?
what's up? What's up?
We're good.
Boy, I know I'm feeling good, because now the football was nice this weekend. It had things to laugh. I don't like to laugh my former friends, but that's what happens when you buy something you don't need before what you need. You check Mount come early, number 7, jerseys, clicks, likes. Hey, my body happy. Football start, midfield empty. Mount cannot do it.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, my partner, honestly, right? You know who I blaming for that second goal? I'll give the goalkeeper a little bit of stick for a simple reason. Wan-Bissaka on his toes, Maguire in front of Wan-Bissaka, Rashford on the other side. You have to push them man out in front of you. And that's why I like goalkeepers like Kahn, Schmeichel, them kind of hard man. You check because you don't want to be there in front of them man and somebody controlling the ball. You will get punched or you will get a tackle because them man going to do the job for you. You know?
The second goal you're talking?
Yeah, the second goal. I think
Okay, yeah.
I think the goalkeeper should have just a change. If you had pushed Wan-Bissaka, you would have had to push Maguire. Maguire would have been in front of the shot. Just play out. In football is mentality, and there's a mentality play. So you can't really blame fellas for that, But I remember when I was in my referee course, is something that the instructor was telling us is that players want to referee the game, and you saw that in the controversial offside calls. You saw that. Akanji wasn't offside. He was in an offside position, which is not an offense. He wasn't blocking the goalkeeper because the ball come from the left side, he on the right side. So line of vision, which is what they lost it. He was not obstructing that. He jumped over the ball. So he didn't interfere with the play. He interfered with the goalkeeper mentality, but he didn't interfere with the play, which is touching the ball or interfering with a player. Garnacho was offside, man. They draw the lines. The lines draw. As an older player, more experienced player, he bend that run better. The defender leaning over, like he watching over a cliff playing one side.
No, that was great defending by Gabriel because you actually see him step up to catch Garnacho offside.
Well,
So I'll give him that.
I'll give him half the point because you see he stepped up, but then he's still leaning back, so his head was actually in the same place the rest of his feet was. Like again, if Garnacho just bend that run, just just maybe take one proper step across, take a hard step across, and then go. He playing him on.
Yeah,
But Garnacho
fine margins, man.
fine margins, and so it's like right now. I think with the level football getting to, players have to be consistent. And if you're not consistent, it's going to show. Because yes, you can be good. I think Newcastle get a hard luck. Harvey Barnes come, plays Leicester football, do pass the ball, and them man lose their game. Almiron maybe hit the post twice. Somebody else hit the post. That game against Liverpool was a rough game for them because
Yeah.
they try hard, and it's not for not wanting to give Liverpool 5 goals. They don't get to them, but Matt Nunes come in the game and it's just and give over them and win their game.
Correct.
You check smash and grab, real smash and grab. You check, and then again the teams they get to play just rough.
That's the thing, right? That's the thing, right? You have Nunes coming off the bench with the mentality that he's gonna impact the game, right? Not
mm,
sulky, not saying, well, the manager didn't start me. Nah, he gonna come on, do something to impact the game. So
He
basically, like I said, he
always works hard.
he forced the manager and one to the next game because the manager now have to say, boy, this man coming in fire, so I might have to give him a start. You check me.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, and that's what you're supposed to do as a player. Maybe because, and again, as a coach, sometimes you bench a player because you want to see something from him, or you say something because you want to see a reaction from the player. But at the end of the day, the reaction is still from the player. If the player don't react, then what I can do as the coach,
So
I mean, even me as
Jordan, to that
amateur coach. Huh?
let me ask you now, what do you think about the Sancho and Ten Hag situation at United?
But Ten Hag don't know how to use him, man. I mean, it's understandable. The man is a City player. You have to be too good for that team he on. But Ten Hag don't know how to use him, man. Ten Hag had the man play. Okay, in the FA Cup final, right? Most people would say Sanchez and Ericsson didn't really do much, right? Rubbish. The man prevent City from playing how they want. You check. It's just because City, the gear make 2 mistakes and let City beat them. That was it. And nobody can convince me otherwise. Because, I mean, amateur level, you teach your goalkeeper to dive. Man do dive. Man just stand up and you check. So,
Yeah.
but
That first goal was
both,
criminal, man.
both goals were the gear.
Oh, but Jordan, okay,
Uh-huh.
I understand what you're saying there, where you say, Ten Hag don't know how to use him, and I agree with that to some extent. But the point of the manager basically saying that he didn't train well, and then he basically going back in the social media and basically saying the man is lying. What do you think about that?
Well, players and managers always have a difference of opinion. I think certain things of my players, and my players will think certain things of themselves. They will always have the same, conditions. But again, you see how we say like this week I was training good. That means you probably haven't been training good in other weeks or in other instances. And then you also have the situation where it have players that just the Allen Iverson effect. That's the best I can say. Practice. We talking about practice. But
Yeah.
that was the only man to rough up Shaq and Kobe when they were at their prime for any more than a game. You check, but that man was the man that hit to practice the most. And Sancho is not looking like that type of player, just like Martial. I mean, in training them, man, are probably looking like rubbish. You check lazy, lethargic, the ball go outside, you're not there. But when the game start, he on. And Sancho does do a lot of running, he does do a lot of hidden things for the team, like when in the midfield in those deeper roles. The man is a better striker than Martial. For me, I would play Martial left, where he actually does score goals. I would play Rashford right, so he would control the ball and just kick on the goal, and play Sancho up front because he's the only person that can play his back to goal, hold up the ball, roll the ball over, pass the ball back for him, and keep the game flowing, or do what all he wants to do with Mount. Let him play next to Bruno and Casemiro because again, he's disciplined enough, smart enough, he can actually play that type of role. He's not fast. You don't need a midfielder to be fast. You just need them to be disciplined, have good touch, and play the game smart. And he can do that.
What do you think about the manager calling him out in the media now, saying that he didn't train well, so I didn't pick him? I think the media is the best place to put that information, or that should be kept in house?
Boy, that tough. That tough. You know why? Because now I'm a fella. I just tell my players how it is. Like, I'll give you an example. I was working in Vibe and TV just before COVID, right? And at that point, I had just recently finished coaching Midlam, like maybe 6 months before. And Jovan Murphy, one of the players I went off to school now, right? I basically watch him play, and I say, okay, you know what? I can send a message for him, and I basically made a comment about how he play. You know what happened? The next game he come out and he was the man of the match. And he come and he find me and he say, boy, you see what you say about me there? I didn't like that, you know. So now you see, I hope you say something different because I play different. But it's my player. I know how to affect him. I know how to prick him. So again, you have to have a relationship with him. Also, I watching volleyball because some of my players play volleyball as well. You understand? You have to build relationships with the players. If you don't have relationships with them, you're not gonna know how to talk to them. You're not going to know how to encourage them, how to motivate them. And Ten Hag don't know how to deal with Sancho. Obvious, because you cannot have a man that performing for you, running the hard yards for you. I mean, I didn't see the stats, but in that FA Cup final, Sancho run at least 11 kilometers, chasing him on, chasing him on, chasing him on, chasing, preventing the man from taking space, come back, preventing the man from getting the ball. Okay, Stones look good, but his Stones alone that could look good because the rest of the midfield were covered. You know, Sancho and them man do a good job. Anytime them things happening, and again too, the coach may be checking, sell Mister, I don't want Mister no more. You check, take that money and reshuffle that in the team. I don't want Mister. Jose used to do that when Jose didn't want to play before, you know, Jose used to just start fighting with them.
Yep.
Ferguson used to fight. Ferguson used to just say, hey, I don't Mister, you know. Get rid of Mister, you know. And
That was it.
Yeah. I was telling them, man, to me, I can look at it, right? Because, like you say, you have to know your player and know how to motivate them. I feel like Ten Hag, and we are getting to Ten Hag as a coach. I think Ten Hag, the jury is- there's a lot of noise in the background there.
yeah, let me just step out because you're getting excited.
I think the jury is still out on Ten Hag as a coach, but overall, I think the, the situation with Sancho, I feel they have tried different things with him, and I genuinely feel that Ten Hag maybe felt like if he go out in the media and say something that might maybe light a fire on the Sancho, maybe that maybe he can start playing a little better, or maybe whatever he's looking for from him that he feel like not getting, because they worked with Sancho last year, send him to Holland to train and do whatever mentally. I think they say he had some challenges and whatever, so it's not like they haven't tried with him. But I do also agree that Manchester United has not used Sancho properly. Like Sancho is a player that plays with his head. He don't really play too much with using his athletic ability. You can see he's a player. He want to play between the lines, one pass and move, and that's how we like to play. And our players, the players we have on the attacking end of the field, don't like playing like that. So until a coach can come there, I mean, we saw Sancho. I keep saying it. We saw Sancho play in Jersey against Arsenal, and he played up front. And Sancho played well. Like he was holding up the ball. He wasn't the fastest, whatever. But he was the one person you could see the ball would get up, dribble. He could do something to try and bring the other players in.
Yeah,
That was
yeah, yeah.
starting the season that Ten Hag went back to Rashford up front. When Sancho, to me. So on the other hand, you could say, well, Sancho might say, well, listen, I played really well in the preseason, and I haven't gotten a chance to play, in the season start
Regularly.
right? So mentality-wise, there
True.
might be many things going through his head too.
Yeah, I think
I don't
so
know. I
too
think
because like
good, John. Good.
what I was gonna say is that it would because again every player have their own style, and if my style is performance, wherever you put me I can play. I'm not really sure where I'm going to play. I know I'm not going to play before Rashford. Look all you can buy a fella more expensive than me to play on the other side. It's still at the youth man that coming through the academy. So I understand playing wing going to be limited. But I show a new coach, I'm willing to play attacking midfield. I'm willing to play striker. And honestly, if you buy Mason Mount to play as a 8, Sancho can do the same job and would be plenty better than Mount. But here it is, the coach basically showing you, I don't want Mister. I don't want to use Mister. I don't want Mister to be around. I don't think Mister is the person I can depend on. Which is sad because, again, if a player show you, for me, the best thing I love as a coach is a player to show me who they are on the field. So you see, I know, okay, I have a striker. If you see not in front of the goal, he not gonna know nothing. I have another player, he playing strike, but he want to be all in the defense tackling. Bro, you're going to play midfield. You can learn how to tackle or to spread the play or to play compose because you don't want to strike. You want to, and if you're not, so you have to learn the players. And I just think that is what Ten Hag.
Pro clubs team, man.
Yeah.
That is why I think Ten Hag, because like almost right, like for fantasy, I have Haaland and Alvarez up front because I realize now Pep going to play a 4-4-2. Even if it looking funny, they call it a 4-3-2-1, whatever. It's a 4-4-2 that there because you are two proper strikers facing the goal all the time. Them man must get goals. I just make a mistake and I do captain one of them, man. That's why I do get 100 points this week. You check and hurt him in, I check him. But the week I take the man out for 2 seasons, I take the man out. Every time I take him out, 20 points by so, 25 points by so.
Yeah.
Set it and forget it with this season there, looking like.
Huh?
I say set it and forget it looking like this season there.
Yeah, it looking so way, but I think the league need to not be worrying. But you see, if City get to 10 games and have any more than 7 points lead, just forget it. Season over. Like right now, we're playing for second place, third place because Stones was the best player last season. Like bar none, Stones was the one that kept that midfield moving, and Stones don't play yet. The Bruyne are going to play after Christmas. Then no, when you bring them out in the game, you bring in the real dog mentality. Real, hey, we don't lose in this game, eh? So make up all your mind. And they don't have that yet, and they're crunching fellas. Like,
Yeah. But right, man. Yeah, we have a couple other people that want to call in. But thanks, bro.
all right.
Thanks for always calling in.
Yeah, man, Jordan.
Yeah, man, bless up. I enjoy the show. But trust me, I like the fact that at least we have an option because we like football. It's not like we're not following football. Maybe our local football not at the level because nobody don't care. You check, we building house on the field, we driving, we riding bike. Is there we have to train everyone to drive. So these conditions for football not good, but I mean, we young, we educated, we like the team. We can do a thing too, and I big up Oli, man. I like to see what Oli doing. I hope Oli continue. And don't disappear again on me, eh? Oli, I leave me heartbroken a little bit last season.
Yeah.
We know
Alright,
Oli not going to do well all the time. Just let it happen. It's like just
Yes, I.
don't disappear, bro. Talk to them for me. I keep them
I'll keep them
on
in
the good
check.
path.
Go for it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, Jordan, he makes some good points there. I mean, and I agree with him pretty much for the most part. I just kind of feel I know Brad have his own thoughts on the Ten Hag situation, kind of calling him out and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have to know your players, man. You can if you have to send him to Holland to get his mind right. I don't know why you think a media shitstorm would motivate him. Like no, he feel compelled to come out and now there's an added distraction unless he wanted something to distract from matters on the pitch. But it's odd because now it's a international break that's going to fester for the next 2 weeks.
Because Sancho not in the team,
Right.
in the England team.
Well,
so he trading.
Well, it can and it cannot, right? If let's say, for example, Ten Hag to me can look at it and say, well, all right, maybe he did something I didn't like. He went into the media, whatever. Then they sit down and they talk about it, and they really just talk to each other man to man, and and determine, well, you know what, we're gonna move past this and we're gonna do what we have to do. Or they might be able to, they might leave it there where it festering, and they come into training and kind of like a similar situation to Pogba and Mourinho. It became kind of toxic, the two of them, being in training and all that stuff. So I think when those kind of situations happen, the best thing is to just approach it head on and just. I hope Sancho maybe just goes into his office and just say, "Hey, boss, this and this happened, and I maybe didn't appreciate what you said." If they decide to, I just saw something saying that the club might be looking to fine him, and I personally, I don't think they need to do any of that. Maybe just give him a warning and just tell him, if you have a problem, he can talk to the coach. But I mean, by the end of the day, too, we all work for people. That's how I kind of seen it, right? We all work for people, and they're not always going to be happy with us. But as much as we might not agree, their opinion is what matters. Your boss is who determines how much what you get paid. Your boss is who determines, what job you're gonna do, all those things. So as much as you might not like what they think or what they have to say, you have to be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? You cannot just
I don't mind that side of it. It's just the public angle for me because we know Ferguson would lie about players all the time. Whether it was to get them out of England duty or whether it was whatever was happening behind the scenes, he would say they have a knock when they didn't, or he would say they have a family issue and keep things in-house. I mean, there were times when he would target players in the media, but that those type of players, that's what they would respond to, We've seen players document that he would yell at Rooney when he really want to be shouting at Nani, but Nani couldn't handle that. So I might also have his players. If a player have a fragile mentality and you're doing that in the media, you're basically saying that you want to put pressure on him, but he can handle it. So I don't know what the objective is. And then if the alternative is that he don't think that he can depend on him and he want to get rid of him, he's on a lot of money, and now you basically telling other clubs that he doesn't train well, he's not doing well. Then you turn around and say, I want 50 million for him. You know what I mean? Like they turn down money for McTominay, but you're not playing McTominay. So you say he's not good enough to play for us, but we want more than 30 million from you. It's contradictory.
Yeah. And the other thing, the other side to the argument to me for Ten Hag is, as a Manchester United fan, like I said, the jury's still out because, I mean, he's been there a year, just over a year. He's brought a lot of players that he has played, on his previous teams. Some of the players you could see, like Martinez, is definitely has been a good buy. Anthony, he's not anywhere near where he should be.
Yeah.
Again, I think overall, okay, we had this whole thing about David De Gea and he wanted to play a certain way. But I watched the game against Arsenal, bro, and literally Onana spraying the ball to the right back or the left back or whoever, and then the ball basically comes right back to him. Like what is the objective? Like, I really don't see what trying to do.
I remember we were talking about that, and I go back and I watch a few clips of us trying to play out. What I see Ten Hag trying to do? He's trying to break the first press, right? So it's like he's trying to draw the other team onto them. It only worked a couple times against Arsenal, where we get past that first line and then we push the ball into the midfield and then we carry it up the field, and then that moves us up the field. That is what I see him trying to do this season. Honestly, I don't think it's going to work, right? Because because our midfielders can carry the ball, right? And then the people that are receiving the ball to carry it now, one of them is Bruno, and then we know once Bruno finds a little bit of space, he's looking for the glory pass, right? 2, our most dangerous player is Rashford, and in so many occasions we're taking so long to get the ball to Rashford.
Yeah, I mean, so that
our problem is Rashford.
Yeah,
because he's the main man and he wants to show he's the main man every single time. So he wants to do everything by himself. He's not looking to link up play and he's not looking to play somebody else in because he attracting the attention.
Yep.
Right? I remember he was on a brick and Holland bossing his tail.
I think it was 3-on-2, I think.
Right? Holland bossing his tail and trying to get there, and Rashford refused to play the ball in. And then he dilly-dally on the ball and try and get a shot off against 3 defenders.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of situations where that Rashford has been doing that for however long. Right? The coach have to address that.
But I just do not understand. I mean, again, we are not paid to analyze football. We are not paid to speak about football. And we can see these things. I don't understand why. And we don't have, the tapes of the games and to go back and pull back and analyze and the team and all those teams in the Premier League have video people who do all those things. So I don't really understand. Rashford has been doing that for years and years and years.
Like running down blind channels and blind.
He's been doing it for years. I just don't understand why up to now he has not even. It doesn't look like they even have the conversation with him, for him to try to think of changing it. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. I feel like, it goes back to the old adage for me in terms of being a manager, right? Not just in sports, but in any avenue. Who's a good manager? Is a good manager the person that could get rid of the people that they don't like and bring in the people that they like and does do everything they say? Or is a good manager the person who could utilize the people that they have and make the people that they have, perform to their best of their abilities? Because everybody, you're not going to always
be better than their abilities.
Yeah, you're not going to get the people that you want all the time on your team. But, you're going to have people who are tough to work with. You're going to have people who are, easy to work with, or people who do more. You're going to have people who want to just do what they're getting paid for. You have people who don't want to do less. But to me, I always look at it like when I look at Klopp and like Pep, no matter who in the team, like you seeing like what the objective is, what they're trying to accomplish. And the players may not be able to do it, but you can see what they're trying to do. I'm still wondering, like, really what Ten Hag
no discernible style quite yet.
Right. But then To that as well, I remember last year, at a certain point during the period where we started actually winning games and things, we were just moving the ball quicker. That was part of it, quick 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
But
And then we moved
surely
up the
that's the
field.
feedback the manager giving after these games where the players holding on to the ball too long.
Right. But then
I mean,
I just don't understand. And to me now, like, and to talk about Anthony a little bit, I getting tired. Anthony can't cross the ball. He can't cross the ball, and then his passes underweighted. He can't dribble past nobody. I started to get tired of it. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, because he new to the league, and we have to get used to his style and this and this and this. But no,
The
it really makes it really makes sense.
part of the narrative now is that people saying, well, Sancho wasn't Ten Hag's purchase. So now, as bad as Anthony might be, he will still start ahead of Sancho. And he put all his pressure on Sancho and Anthony playing poorly and he not being dropped. So it's like everything is connected now. He put in additional pressure on himself now.
yep.
And if the results do improve, you know,
Because I mean, again, when when Sancho played for Dortmund, he played on the right side. Sancho has never played on the right side for Manchester United. I just do not understand it.
yeah,
I am not saying, like, again, the guy doesn't have to be the quickest guy. David Beckham was not fast, but he had quality to cross the ball. Like, he could do certain things. So
yeah,
everybody doesn't have to be. And I know all these coaches nowadays, they want the left footer to play on the right side so they can cut in and do all these things. But again, to me, football is not, if you have the skills, it's not a difficult game. You
Nope.
just, you put your best players to play. And if Anthony, to me, after a whole season and starting this season, offensively, he's not a threat. So it puts a lot of pressure on Rashford and Bruno to always be the people having to produce an assist or score a goal. And because Martial was not consistent, he was always injured. You know, we
Mhm.
we had Wegos up there who was not a threat either. So basically, you're looking at the four attacking players, or you can only really depend on two of them.
And
yeah,
You know,
I think that too affecting how our players play, right? Because if you know that you cannot really get the end product from some of these other players, you're not going to look for them for the last pass, right?
yep.
You're going to
And,
want to finish it yourself.
and even though, I mean, Hoyland came on, he played about 30 something minutes against Arsenal. You can see, what kind of player he is so far. He has some space, some pace, he has some strength. But any striker who making these kind of runs into the box and the left wing or the person not even looking for them, like anybody would get discouraged.
Oh yes, oh yeah.
And that's why I remember when Cristiano Ronaldo came to United, he and Van Nistelrooy got into it in training because Van Nistelrooy kept saying that I keep making the runs, but you're not crossing the ball, bro. You just keep dribbling.
yeah.
Like they kept so that is the difference, and that's why when you look at people like Kevin De Bruyne, man, these guys are like they're just so brilliant and amazing to watch because
For sure.
yeah, because they players love playing with these kind of guys because
You
when you
can
make
make the run and they'll try and find you.
the ball will come. If it doesn't come, it's for a good reason, not because they want to get the plaudits.
But it's
So
why a lot of people make jokes and say, call you guys like Moments FC. Well, you'll have like Bruno will Rabona across and Rashford might score, and then but it's not the result of some brilliant play,
Mhm.
like build up, and it's a moment of brilliance. And players will have that here and there, but you never know what you're going to get every week because there's no consistency in how they approach the game, how they want to play the ball, and maybe it's the personnel, but then money's being spent every summer, every window, the manager being backed.
yep,
So at
yep,
some point you have to expect a certain level of results. I'm not saying you're gonna win every game, but
Mhm.
Wolves you get outplayed. Then you go to Tottenham, then there was issues, and then you're down 2 to Forest, and then you go to Arsenal, like at some point.
yeah. I mean,
To
you
be,
have.
to be honest, the first two games, Mount was in that midfield,
Mhm.
right? And I don't think the instruction was for Mount to sit next to Casemiro and play in that midfield. I think him and Bruno were given a license to get forward and try and push forward. When Ericsson plays, Ericsson not as mobile, so Ericsson smarter with his movement.
Yep.
And we had a lot more control in terms of, well, one defensively against Forest, well, barring the first 5 minutes of the game,
Yeah.
right? And then against Arsenal as well, right? So we had a better structural setup, which is why I think Amrabat going to be probably better. in that position because he have the legs to cover, right? And then he also a bit more disciplined defensively,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Honestly,
we played defensively well. I feel against Arsenal, and I don't feel like we were that bad. I mean, the 3-1,
the scoreline
obviously,
flat Arsenal, man.
right? But I feel like we did okay. If that game had finished a draw, I would have been
Yeah,
okay. I definitely think Arsenal deserved the 3 points on the balance of the game overall. But I still think we were not that bad.
Well,
But
yeah,
I
happy with
agree.
Havertz, eh?
Havertz,
Yeah, the Arsenal fans, they're not happy with him.
yeah, Havertz missed a thing there, boy.
Them just a miss, a complete miss. We kick the ball.
Boring.
That was bad.
Well, I see a couple Chelsea fans in the chat there. What my partner say there? Let me see. He
You
said,
see, he's so glad. You see, he's so glad Havertz got this problem again.
yeah, I see.
You know exactly doing better than Havertz at the moment. So
Well, that too.
you know, so
But yeah, man. I mean, I think international break, right? We will see teams get opportunity for the people, especially who don't go to the international teams. They get opportunity to train some more, and we will see. I mean, Ten Hag got a full season, a full preseason. Um, I know he was injured on playing this young kid that got injured. Kobe Mino. Yeah. Um, but we'll see, man. I think we can come good. I think we have good players overall, but one of the things that I feel Manchester United really need to do is the players just need to put their head down and work hard. Forget about their talent. Forget about, yes, because they are talented players, but talent doesn't get you to win leagues. You have to work hard. Everybody has to do their job. Everybody has to do their job, and that's the sense that I get. Dalo had a really, really, really good game against Saka on the at left back. Saka was quite quiet in that game, um, which might not happen in most instances. But even in
yeah,
that case, for it to still lose the game 3-1 after Saka and who's the other Martinelli. Martinelli had some good moments against Wan-Bissaka. I think he had an assist, but
You did,
for the
yeah.
most part, Wan-Bissaka did good. So defensively we were okay, but offensively, I genuinely feel like it's too much pressure on the two main players, Rashford and Bruno, every weekend for it to be them coming up with the goods on the front end of the pitch.
that is a byproduct of unclear style, and I don't know. I don't know what the instructions are, but I see players literally like you might not be able to progress the ball forward, but a pass to the right quickly can open up spaces because it will pull a defender in one way, and then but the players just they dilly dallying on the ball, and I don't know why. And I would imagine the manager would be saying, "Move the ball quicker."
Yep.
Sometimes like they'll turn and the Anthony open on the right wing, and instead of just putting it to him as quickly as possible, they will
Carry it to him.
on the ball, and then by the time they pass it somebody, I don't understand why. Maybe it's a tactic they're using, but it's just
I don't know why either. But Brad, if you think about it, Rashford got the goal against Arsenal. They got the ball to him quickly.
yep,
The goal that they got the assist against Nottingham Forest. They got the ball to him quickly.
yep,
Well, again, if you keep doing, but I think I don't know. Maybe it's instruction. The only thing I can correlate it to is like when you play cricket. One of the things that drives me crazy is like being on a team and I don't know what number I bat in. I can die. I don't like that. I don't like people to tell me, well, if that person out, you go in and bat. If that left hand bat, I don't like that. I want to know when this game start. I bat in number 5 and I bat number 5. Mentality wise, I can prepare myself. That is where I bat in, no matter what happened in the game. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times you find people tell you, well, no, well, if you're trying to chase the game, we will send this guy. Like to me, I personally don't like it. A lot of people don't see a problem with it, but to me, it messes up my mental,
yeah,
as a player because I want to know what is my specific role in the team. You know what I'm saying? If you send me to open, what is my role? If I bat in number 5, what is my role? Am I a bowler? Am I a fielder? You know what I'm saying? I need to know these things. And into me in sports, same thing with Sancho, and maybe that's how Sancho feels. He doesn't really have a place in
yeah,
the team. When he plays in the middle, he plays well, then he gets dropped. He not going to play on the left because he's either Garnacho or Rashford, and they haven't even tried him on the right side. So for him, like, what is the point?
yeah.
So, but we'll see, man. Season kicks off in 2 weeks again.
Yep.
So yeah. So anyway, we're already after 9. I know we've been going for a little while. We want to thank everybody who been consistently tuning in. Shout out to Rafik, Rajiv. Rajiv is part of the show, but he doesn't give a reason. The Chelsea fans, they just want to show their face. You have us, but Jordan, thanks for always calling in, bro. We appreciate it, giving your opinion. I don't know.
We also had a young lady on there as well, Kite, giving a comment to Maguire. So
Yeah, she say once Maguire came on, it was a gift. boy, Maguire can't get a break.
I see a little more of him now with those injuries. So strap
Yeah,
in.
we'll see. I mean,
We'll see what the next 2 weeks bring.
Say he wanted to fight for his place, so right now you get a chance for him to show
Get a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So anyway, we'll be back in another week. We're not gonna have Premier League football, but we can go into some other topics and stuff. And
For sure.
Consistent. Jordan already warned us and tell us don't drop off already. So we have
We'll
to
take a look at some of the international fixtures, man. It has some good games coming up in the break. So
yeah. All right, man. Anyway, everybody, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in another week.
yeah, man.